I'm 81 years old, and I'm telling you this because there isn't much time left for me to pretend anymore. Most of my life, I believed there would always be another season, another chance, another quiet later. Christen in abusen. Now, later is a small word that doesn't belong to me anymore. I don't know who you are listening to this. I don't know your age. I only know that I waited too long to say certain things, and now they live inside me instead of in the world where they belonged. These days, I wake up before the sun without meaning to. My body does it on its own. The house is quiet in a way that used to feel peaceful and now just feels empty. There's a chair by the window. I sit there most mornings with a cup of coffee that goes cold before I finish it. I watch people pass by. Most of them don't know me. That part still surprises me. I used to think that after a long life, you'd be remembered more. Not in books or statues, just in people, but memory fades faster than pride. I'm not telling this to be praised or forgiven. I'm telling it because it feels wrong to take all of this with me when I go. When I was young, I didn't think of myself as someone who made big mistakes. I thought I was careful, responsible, the kind of man people could rely on. I worked hard. I showed up. I paid my bills. I did the things I was supposed to do. That's how it starts for most of us, not with bad intentions, just with ordinary choices that seem harmless because they look like responsibility. I grew up in a small town where people measured your worth by how early you woke up and how late you stayed out working. My father was like that. He didn't talk much, but everyone said he was a good man, and I wanted to be called that too. So I chased being good. I wake, good worker, good provider, good man. I married young. Her name was Elaine. She had a laugh that came from deep in her chest, like she couldn't hold it in even if she tried. When we were first together, we talked about everything, the kind of talking that makes time disappear. We rented a small place with thin walls and bad plumbing, but we didn't care. We were busy being young. Then life started asking for more hours, more effort, more proving. I took a better job that paid more but kept me out later. Elaine said she understood. She probably did. Understanding doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. At first, I told myself it was temporary. Just until we were stable, just until we saved enough, just until things felt safe. But just until is a dangerous phrase. It never tells you when it plans to leave. We had 2 children. I remember holding my son for the first time and thinking, I will be everything he needs. I believed that meant working harder. I missed small things at first. A school play, a parent meeting, a birthday dinner that got pushed to the weekend. I always had a reason. Work needed me. The money mattered. We'd make it up later. Elaine stopped asking as much. That felt like understanding too, but it wasn't. It was distance growing quietly. We still lived together. We still talk, but the talks became shorter. Practical, about schedules and groceries and bills. Sometimes she would sit at the table after dinner and look at me like she wanted to say something. I'd say, long day, and go lie down. I told myself I was tired. I didn't tell myself I was afraid of slowing down. Slowing down meant noticing things, and I wasn't sure I wanted to notice what was changing. The kids grew fast. They always do. I saw it, but I didn't feel it the way I should have. I remember one night my daughter stood in the doorway while I was looking at papers from work. She said, "Dad, can you come see my drawing?" I don't read. I said, "In a minute, all driti." She nodded and walked away. I don't remember what the paper was about. I remember her shoulders when she turned. Moments like that don't announce themselves as important. They just pass, and you let them. Years went like that. Work, home, sleep, repeat. I thought I was building something solid. What I didn't see was what I was letting quietly fall apart. Elaine started spending more time out of the house, friends, classes, things she never had time for before. I said I was glad she was enjoying herself. I meant it, but I didn't ask how she felt anymore. One night she said, "I feel lonely even when you're here." I laughed a little and said, "That's not true. I'm right here." End quote. I pointed to the chair. She didn't laugh. She said, "That's what I mean. This as our Ged." I didn't understand it then. Or maybe I didn't want to. We stayed married, but we weren't close. Not the way we used to be. We became polite to each other. That's a strange kind of sadness. The kids moved out. The house got quieter. I thought that would bring us back together. Instead, it just showed us how far apart we already were. Elaine got sick in her late 50s. Nothing sudden, just a long illness that slowly takes pieces of a person. I went to the appointments. I drove her. I sat in the waiting rooms. But even then, I didn't really talk to her the way I should have. I talked about medicine and schedules, not about fear, not about memory, not about love. One night, when she was already weak, she said, "Do you remember how we used to talk for hours? Rebel is solution." I said, "Of course. We're not to CBS stress." She said, "I miss that version of us." I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. She died in a hospital room with soft green walls and a clock that ticked too loud. I held her hand. It felt smaller than I remembered. After she was gone, people told me I had been a good husband. They said I was strong. They said I did everything right. I nodded, but inside, something felt wrong. The house felt different without her. Not just empty, wrong. I found old notes she had written, lists, reminders, little messages in drawers. In one notebook, there was a page where she had written, "I just want him to see me." I don't know when she wrote that. I wish I had. The kids came by more at first, then life pulled them back to their own worlds. They have families now, jobs, busy lives. They call, sometimes they visit, but they don't need me the way they once did. That's how it should be. What hurts is knowing how much of them I didn't really see when they were small. I look at old photos. I'm in some of them, but not enough. I thought success meant being needed by a job, by a role, by a title, but when those things fade, you see what's left. And what's left for me is a lot of quiet and a lot of thinking. The regret didn't come all at once. It came slowly, like water rising without sound. I'd remember her standing in the doorway. My daughter with the drawing, the way Elaine used to look at me across the table. I didn't ruin my life in one big mistake. I wore it down with small delays. I kept choosing later. Created later talk, later time, later closeness. Later turned into never. There's no fixing that. That's the hardest part. People talk about forgiveness, about making peace, but some things don't need forgiveness. They just need time. And when time is gone, so is the chance. I can't go back and sit at that table longer. I can't answer the doorway differently. I can't give Elaine the years I should have given her when she was alive. I can only sit in this chair and tell you what I learned too late. The lesson took me 51 years to understand, not because it was complicated, but because I kept running from it Being busy is easy. Being present is harder. Work gives you numbers, praise, structure. People give you moments. And moments don't wait. You think you'll remember the important ones. You won't. They blur together unless you stay with them. I used to think love was something you had. Now I know it's something you do over and over. In small, ordinary ways, listening when you're tired, looking up when someone is standing in front of you, sitting when you could be rushing. I don't say this to tell you what to do. I'm not in a position to give orders to anyone. I only know what I wish I had known. I wish I had known that no one feels loved by being provided for alone. They feel loved by being noticed. I wish I had known that silence between two people can mean comfort or distance, and it's your job to know which one it is. I wish I had known that you don't get extra years for being responsible. I wish I had known that someday I would sit in a quiet house and wish for noise. If you're listening to this, it means you still have time. I don't. Not infinite time, but real time. If this meant something to you, you don't have to change your life today. Just notice it. Notice who is near you. Notice who is trying to speak. One day, you might be sitting where I am, wondering why certain voices went quiet. I don't hate my life. I had good years. I laughed. I worked. I loved in the way I knew how. But love could have been deeper, and now I know that depth is what stays. When my time comes, I don't think I'll be thinking about my job. I'll be thinking about Elaine's laugh, my daughter's drawing, the doorways I didn't walk through when someone was waiting. That's what lasts. I'm 81 years old. I don't know how many mornings like this I have left, but I know I won't waste them pretending I don't feel what I feel. If you remember anything from this, let it be simple. Life doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. I spent 51 years learning that, and I learned it when most of my chances were already behind me. I hope you learn it sooner.